Hello everyone, so in this video we are going to learn how to create Zoho Desk tickets for Gravity Forms submission. So basically you are receiving multiple queries or problem forms by any customer with the help of Gravity form that you have created, and whenever you receive that form you want to raise a ticket on your Zoho Desk, right? So for this complete work you can create an automation with the help of Pabbly Connect, where we are going to integrate these two applications in such a way that whenever a form is submitted or a form is received by us, then a ticket will be created in Zoho Desk. So in this automation that we are going to create using Pabbly Connect, our trigger will be the form submitted in Gravity Forms and our action will be to create a ticket in Zoho Desk. Let us learn how to do that. So let us learn that how you can create a ticket in Zoho Desk whenever a new Gravity Form submission is received by you. Now the hack over here is that we have to create a ticket in this given situation, that the person who is filling up the form or who is giving this query question over here should be an existing contact or customer in Zoho Desk. So first we will find if the contact exists. If there is an existing contact with the same name, then what we will do, straight away create a ticket. But if there is a new contact who has filled the Gravity Form submission, then what we are going to do, we will create a contact first and then create a ticket. So let us quickly sign in into our account so that we will reach this place where I can see all the applications provided by Pabbly. And we are going to use Pabbly Connect to create this automation. Click on Access Now. That will take me to the dashboard of Pabbly Connect. Reaching here, you will be able to see a big blue button on your right side where it's written Create Workflow. Click on the button and give a suitable name to your workflow. I'm going to name it as Create Zoho Desk Tickets for Gravity Form Submissions. Click on Create and then a blank workflow will be created for you, like you can see on your screen. You will be able to see two major modules of Pabbly Connect, Trigger and Action, on the basis of which the whole automation runs. Now before that, I would like to remind you to open your websites or applications, which is Zoho Desk and Gravity Forms, that are supposed to be integrated so that you can connect them easily with Pabbly Connect and also to make the required changes for this workflow. Like we are going to understand now what is trigger and action. Trigger says when this happens and action says do this, which means that the trigger application will be the place where the event will take place for the very first time. For example, our trigger over here is going to be Gravity Forms, because whenever that form will be submitted by any customer, whether it is an existing one or a new one, then it will trigger the workflow, and the action application, which is going to be Zoho Desk, will perform the assigned action, which is going to be to create a ticket. So when this happens, when Gravity Form submission happens, then create a ticket, do this. So let us begin with the trigger event. The trigger event for Gravity Form is new response, that whenever a new response is received by any form, then this action will take place. So when you select the trigger event, you will see that a webhook URL appears in front of you. Now this URL basically acts like a bridge between both the applications, your trigger application and Pabbly Connect, in such a way that we are going to integrate this URL with the form that you're going to work upon. Go to the forms from here. And here are the list of all the forms that you already have. I'm going to take here query form. Open this, and this is my form: account number, name, email, contact, description of the problem, and the due date. So this is the form I have created for query. Now I'll go to settings, scroll down, and I will find webhooks over here. Click on webhooks and see, you will find that no webhook is integrated over here. So we will connect this webhook URL with this specific form so that only this form submission will trigger the workflow. So you have to follow these instructions over here to learn how to integrate these two applications. Copy this webhook URL from here, go to your Gravity Forms and click on this button Add New over here. In your request URL field, paste this URL that you've copied. Now you have to name this webhook, so give it a nice name. Zoho Ticket 2, I have given this the name. Now every other thing is supposed to be the same, nothing has to be changed. Now click on Save Settings and integration is done. See, settings updated. Now you see, when you come back to your workflow, it is waiting for a webhook response, which means that we have to do a sample submission of the form to receive the data over here. Since I mentioned this to you in the very beginning, that we have two conditions over here. If the customer exists, then straight away a ticket will be created. And if there is a new customer, then first the customer will be created and then the ticket will be created. So let's say go to customers, and this is the list of all the customers. Here I am taking this one. Okay, Jane Iyer, and this is the email address, and this is the mobile number of this specific customer. So this is the detail I'm going to use to fill up that form. So we are taking the example in the beginning of a customer which exists. All right. So an existing customer is filling the form of the query. So go back, click on this preview button on Gravity Forms, and now you have to fill up the form. I'll give some account number over here. Now these are the details over here. I have to give a description of the problem and a due date till when I want this problem to be resolved. Now let's say this is the due date and click on submit. See, our form has been submitted. When you go back to Pabbly Connect, see, you have received the response in no time. The due date is given over here. We have a description of the problem, short circuit, contact number, email address, and the title. Now when you scroll down, you will find the name of the person, which is this over here. So now we have received this complete data from the Gravity Form submission, and we already know that this person exists, but we want further details, anything that could prove that yes, in our Zoho desk this customer exists. So first we are going to find the same customer. So find contact is the action event you are going to choose, and then click on connect and connect Zoho desk and Pabbly Connect. Add new connection and connect with Zoho desk. Now it will automatically detect your account. You just have to give the domain. So when you open your URL here in your Zoho desk, you will see that zoho.in is written. So this is the domain of your Zoho desk account. So copy and paste it over here. Click on save, and you just have to give access by clicking on accept. And Pabbly Connect is given access inside Zoho desk. So now you can see once the accounts are connected, you have to enter an email address over here. So this email address is going to be taken from the form submission that we have received, so that we can find that contact in Zoho desk, that if it is existing or not. So we will map that data. So why is mapping done over here? So that every time a new form is submitted, so we will take the email address of that form submission and map it over here. So when you map it, it gets exchanged automatically with the new response. So this is the email address, and therefore we click on save and send test request, and you will receive the response of all the details related to that existing customer in your Zoho desk. See, you have this name over here, when it was created, that data owner ID, created time. Now data ID. This data ID is a proof that yes, this ID actually is an identity of the existing customer. So we are going to take this into use. You scroll down, you will find the email also over here. All right, and the other details related to that contact, the phone number and other details. So you have it. So this shows, the ID shows if the ID of that contact exists over here, then which means that the contact is here. If there was a new contact, then there would be no ID. So what you're going to do, create a contact and then create a ticket. Now one thing that I wanted to mention over here is, in our Gravity Form submission, we have received the date in this format, but Zoho desk accepts the format in a different way. You will get to know when you create the contact or ticket. So we are going to first change the date over here. This is the simple format, they want it in a different format. So we are also going to change it. So click on this plus button, add one more action step over here, and use a feature by Pabbly which is called date time formatter. Date time formatter is a feature which is built inside Pabbly, and as the name suggests, it can be used to format the date and time. So what is the event format? Date only. We just have the date, there is no time, but we want a different format. Click on connect, it will be easily connected on its own. And now you have to map the date over here that you want to change. So similarly, map the date from the Gravity Form submission. Now see, the format is year, month and date. Okay, so this is the format. So from format is going to be year, month, date only. This is the from existing format. To format is what format you wanted to change into. So it is going to be this format that you want to change. This is the format in which Zoho desk accepts. Now scroll down and click on save and send test request, and you will receive the same date in this format. See, you have the date here, and you are going to map this date when it asks you to enter the due date for the ticket. Alright, so close this module. Now click on the plus button, and it is a very important step of this complete workflow which is called router. Now router is also a feature which is built inside Pabbly. When you choose it, you will understand what is the use of router. See, it gives you two routes as the name suggests. It will give you multiple routes. You can add any number of route over here, and if you want to give conditions to your workflow, it will work it that way. Like for the first route, if I rename it for a contact which exists, okay, update, and the second one I will rename as does not exist. Update and see. Exist is for the contacts who are already existing. So if the data ID of that contact in this step, find contact step, exists, then the ticket will be created in this step. Alright. But if the contact does not exist, then it will be created in this step, which is does not exist. So first the contact will be created and then the ticket will be created. So now we will set the filter and action step for the exist router that we have set. So click on that button and then you will find the option where you can see you have to set a filter for this complete workflow. So the first condition which says exist means that the customer exists and we just have to create a ticket, which means the filter will say that if the data ID of that specific customer exists, then this filter will allow the ticket to be created. So in this label, I will select from the Zoho Desk find contact and we will find the data ID from here. Now this is the data ID, map it. And because it cannot be equal to anything because every customer, existing customer will have a different ID. So it should just exist. If the data ID exists, click on save and send test request. And here say, the status says success, which means that this data ID exists, which means the contact exists. Click on this plus button and now you have to create a ticket. So here, choose your action application as Zoho Desk. And your action event will be to create a new ticket because the customer already exists. Click on connect. And because you're using Zoho Desk for the second time in this workflow, keep it on select existing connection and save. Since the accounts are connected, now see, for creating a new ticket, you will receive these fields over here that you have to fill in. So what we will do, see, the organization is just one. So this is the same organization. It is automatically selected from Zoho. This is the department. And now we have to enter the subject over here. So the subject can be the title for our query. So here we can map the name that from we have received the gravity form over here and short circuit like it was our topic of the query, so that we can mention over here. Contact, so we have the data ID, right? So we will activate the map button, remove this from here, erase it, and now we will map the ID from the find contact. That if the contact exists, so we can map the data ID and this is the contact we will be working upon. And the query or that ticket will be created for this specific contact. Then we have to enter the email address, the phone number and the due date, the category and many other fields. So let us map this from our gravity form submission. Open this and take it from here only. This is the email address. Then what is the phone number? So phone number was also there in the gravity forms. Then we have the due date. So remember that we have formatted our due date with the help of datetime formatter. So map that date over here and make sure that you compare that yes, this is the format you were looking for. The category and subcategory, you can set it from this drop down menu only. And then all the other things are done. So simply click on save and send test request and then a ticket will be created. And here we have the response. The response says that this is the modified time of the created ticket. And the other details of the created ticket, we have it all over here. No error is there in this response, which means that our ticket has been created. So let us close this module right here and go to our Zoho Desk to check is a ticket created or not. And here we have C short circuit. If you open it, you will be able to see all the details that you created the ticket in your workflow, which means that this filter is going to work and this router will also work. Click on close and then you have to create a situation where the contact does not exist. So we will set the filter and action step over here. So see, here like we put the filter for the previous step was that, so we will map that data ID over here. That data ID of a contact does not exist. So in this given situation, the data ID does not exist, which means the contact does not exist. Click on save and send test request and the response will show an error, which is very clear that when there is no contact existing with this name, then you have to create a contact. But if we create a contact right here in your Zoho Desk, then what data you are going to map? We are not going to enter a manual data. It has to be changed every time. So close this because we are going to put another form submission in work and we will get the response from that. Now, since the workflow is almost created, once you do the response, you will receive the data right here. So click on reCAPTCHA webhook response and get the response and we will make the submission of a person that does not exist in our Zoho. So go back to our gravity forms over here, preview it all over again and fill up the form. So I have given the account number, the name of the person, email address, contact number, and description of the problem. And the due date is, let's say, this. Okay, click on submit. And the work is done. You come back here and see. So we have a response over here about the recent submission that we made, and we have the email address, contact number, and all the other details of the newly submitted form over here, and the name of the person is also here. So now we are going to take this Gravity form submission to create a new contact. Now when this email will be used to find a contact, it won't find data ID. Alright, so we are going to use this case for does not exist one. Let us set the filter and action step. We have already set the filter. So we have already set the filter over here that the data ID does not exist. So when this email will not be found in Zoho Desk, which means that the data ID does not exist, and the response will say error. So this error and all will make sure that first a contact is created. Alright, and then we will choose the action application as Zoho Desk over here for creating a new contact. And the details for the new contact will be taken from the Gravity form submission. Here we will choose create contact. Now since we are using Zoho Desk again for the third time, keep it on select existing connection and save this. Now we will have to create a new contact. So organization and account is going to be the same since we have just one option, and also you can cross check these details to your Zoho account right here. Let's go back to tickets so that we can check the new contact created and also the new ticket created. Here you have the title, first name, last name. Let us map this all from the Gravity form submission. This is the title, first name, last name from Gravity form submission. Similarly, this email, and then phone number, secondary email. First of all, we do not have any email. Secondly, it's not necessary, so we are not going to use this over here. Description, if we have any description, yes, but we have that as a query. So we will be using that detail of the query in the ticket creating process. Now address is not provided to us, so this is it. Click on save and send test request, and the new contact will be created. And here we have, see, the new contact is created, and we will have the data ID for this contact as well. When you scroll down, you will find the data ID, which is this. We have the ID over here. So when we will be creating a new ticket, this ID can be used to map as the contact of this specific person. Let us close this module now and go back and check have we created a contact or not. So this is my Zoho, and we have the name as new user. Yeah, here we have, and this is the email address, this is the contact number, which means we have the contact now. Go back to tickets and let us wait to create a new ticket for this specific contact we have just created. Click on this plus button, and now we will use Zoho again to create a ticket. Action event over here is going to be create new ticket because we have an existing contact now. Connect, select existing connection and save. Now we have connected the accounts. So here we have the organization department. Similarly, like we did for the exist contact situation, we are going to create a new contact. What is the subject? So let us map the subject, that is the query, the title of our query. Then we have the contact. So again, activate the map button. Erase this ID and map the new ID that we have just created. See, create contact, we have it over here. And let us map that ID here, which is the ID of a newly created contact. All right. Then we will map all the email address and details from the Gravity form submission that we have just now created for a brand new contact over here. Let us map the email address and all the other details quickly. Due date. And every other thing is done. Just activate this assignee and erase this also. And your work is done. And scroll down and click on save and send test request so that a new ticket can be created. And see, here first of all in the response, check for any error. If there is no error, which means that yes, our ticket has been created. Let us quickly close this window over here and go back to our Zoho Desk to check have we created a new ticket for this new contact. Here, and we will just refresh this. And see, documentation improper, open this, and this is for this contact, new user 1. Alright, which means that with the help of this router, we were able to create such an automation that whenever a form is received over here, a form submission is received over here, then it will find a contact with that email address. If found, then first of all, date will be formatted and it will be sent to this existing router where just the ticket will be created. And if the contact is not found, then also the date will be formatted but sent to this step where we will create a contact and then create a ticket. So this was the whole video. I hope this helped. Not just these applications, but you can integrate many other applications using Pabbly Connect. If you have any issue regarding Pabbly, you can email us at support@pabbly.com. You can ask your queries at forum.pabbly.com. And if you have any doubts regarding our pricing, then you can connect us through this given website. If you found this video helpful in any way, then make sure to share this with your friends and colleagues to make their life easier by creating automations. We will meet in the next video. Till then, do not forget to like our video and subscribe to our channel. Thank you.